basically just a pretty basic tutorial. We can skip cutscenes, which is the most valuable thing to learn in this tutorial. Most of the cutscenes in this game can be skipped by hitting pause and skip cutscene, but it's pretty inconsistent which ones you can skip and which ones you can't. So some of them we have some other ways of skipping them, which you'll see later on. But for these first few, I can just skip all of them like that. All right, so for this part, we're learning that we can actually jump in midair if we do a run. If you run off the surface, you can jump at any point, even if you're not on the ground. Here, we're going to try to get the first trick. All right, I got it. So that star is usually supposed to run away, like all the way down the aisle there. But if you get it just right, you can get it to stay there, and then you can push that box before she talks to you, and then we can just jump right up here and grab the second star. You might be wondering why we're getting these stars. Well, this game has a system where in each level you get like 3 different power-ups, basically, which you get by collecting 3 stars, gives you a power-up. So the only power-up in this level, which is the tutorial, is just the slingshot. This is the worst wish in the entire game. It does not work very well. It doesn't fire consistently. It requires you to like not hold a certain direction on the joystick, and you have to hold down the Y button a certain amount of time. So it's very easy for this to not fire. But we want to try to get these shots from like as far away as possible so that we don't have to run all around the level. You can see that door doesn't have any collision. It just goes right through Timmy. If you stand next to that door, it skips a little cutscene of them talking to you because it just goes right into the exit cutscene. So that's tutorial, pretty easy level, not much to say. So this is Fairy World. This is one of the heaviest reset points in the run, which you will see shortly. So the first part, we're just going to be getting these.
Are you fucking kidding me? Earl Grey, we're gonna have to pause for a second. Well, that was unexpected. I do have AdBlock installed. Well, it's never an online event without some sort of bug occurring. That's frustrating. Sorry, folks. And Earl Grey has just announced that he got a blue screen on his PC. So that's a really great start to a marathon. Welcome, everybody. This is License-a-thon. It's technical issues abound. We're going to wait for Earl Grey to... We're going to wait for Earl Grey to, to start back up again, because that was a little bizarre. Wow. Blue screen right at the beginning of the marathon. What an amazing turn of events. How are you all doing today? I'm gonna go back to this. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's while we're waiting, to to the dulcet tones of the Genesis YM2612. Yeah, sadly we weren't able to get everything that we wanted done. I would have also preferred having a completely licensed game music playlist, but there was simply a lot to do, and one of those things we didn't get around to. Next year. Wally music. So what, just show tunes? You want me to look up a playlist of the Gershwin brothers' greatest hits? Because I'll look that up. Hey, it is Tempest Troll. All right, looks like Earl Grey is back up and running. Thank God. All right, and all right, looks like Earl Grey has joined me again. Wow, what a start to the marathon, good sir. I don't know if you can hear me. Just 1 second, and
All right, everybody. Sorry about that. My computer blue screened, so everything crashed. But we're back up now, and everything should be fine. But yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to do a countdown anyway, so you know what? It's not too bad. All right. So let's get ready and do this for real this time. All right. So I'm gonna start in 3 on go. I'm gonna start on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. So back to tutorial. Everyone's favorite level to grind. Not true. I hate this level. But that's okay. You end up playing it a lot when you do runs of this game if you're trying to get every trick, because you end up resetting a lot, but that's alright. You can also get a fun clip inside of that guy if you stand right where he spawns. Alright. So something to know about the cutscenes that we can skip in this game is if there's multiple cutscenes in a row, then you can actually skip them too quickly because there's about 2 frames between cutscenes where Timmy respawns into the playfield. All right, so I didn't get Quick Star this time, so now you can see what it looks like when you don't get it. Runs pretty far away, but we should be able to get back to this box and get it at least pushed halfway, because it'll keep moving during the cutscene. And then, so that saves about 5 or 6 seconds if you get the Quick Star. And we don't really know why that works. We think it has something to do with jumping before entering that first cutscene there, but we don't really know. Yeah, if you skip the cutscenes too quickly, you'll end up just pausing the game and not being able to skip the cutscene because it hadn't started yet. This slingshot is very difficult to aim. It often does not aim where you tell it to aim. It just sometimes will just shoot off to the side. Oh, come on. Yeah, that should be it. All right, cool. We good. All right, those targets were a little rough to us, but that's okay. All right, so going back into Fairly Disastrous this time. All right, so again, we're just grabbing some of the stars here to get our first wish. Something to note is that you can actually run, jump, and bounce off things. I tried to get one off the elf there, but I didn't quite get it. But if you hit things when you're run jumping, Timmy will bounce off of objects really far. So you can use that to kind of help you get around the level a little bit with little bits of speed here and there. You can do it off this card. I think I missed it, though. I think the cards move up and down, and so I didn't get quite the right cycle for the card. Here's the first real trick of the run. We're going to skip about half the level by run jumping over this gap, and that skips about half of the level. We call that moo skip. And then I'm just... Oh, I got caught in that cutscene. I was trying to go around it. Here's the second trick of the run. We can jump off this awning onto this other tent over here. Oh, man, I just missed it. Oh, no, and I bonked. This is not a good start, guys. That's all right. All right, so let's try that again. So you can get up here, and then you can get over that fence or over that wall, and then we can just barely grab this, and then we can just run over this. There's no texture for it, but there is collision, so we can just keep moving our way over to the final boss. We call that gate skip because we're skipping that gate that was right back there. And now this is the most challenging part of the run. This is the reset, the heaviest reset point. I'm going to try to get a cutscene skip here by just barely... Nope, I didn't get it. You have to so you have to pause within the first 2 frames of this cutscene starting and go to skip cutscene. Otherwise, you'll just get thrown into this second half of the cutscene. But if you get it on the first 2 frames, you can move during this cutscene, and you can just already start the fight without playing through this cutscene. Fun side effect of that is that Jester, the boss, or Quince, is invisible if you get that skip. But that's all right. Not a big deal. I think it's about 1 minute and 10 seconds or so that you lose if you don't get the skip. Nice thing about this fight is that the shots kind of like magnetize towards him, so you can be pretty off in your shot and still get him. Also, that first health bar is the smallest on the HUD, but it's actually the large. It takes the most shots. You'll notice these next few are going to go by a lot faster. Basically, we're just hitting that button to change the suit that's coming out of this fountain, and so we can shoot the right suit of cards at him. And these elves can definitely get in your way. I'm just going to kill that one so I can keep moving. You can see I'm facing basically sideways, and it's still pulling the shots to him. All right, so that is Fairy World. So hardest trick there is done. We didn't get it, but that's all right. Oh, wow, I jumped right over it. That's all right. As long as he doesn't run up the ramp, it's okay. All right, now we are headed into my favorite split, my favorite level of the game. This is Take It on the Chin. This is I've done a lot of grinding for ILs of this level. It's got a lot of fun little tricks, a couple big tricks. Oops. Accidentally paused the 3rd time there. So so there's 2 wishes we can get right off the bat. We're going to get the one that they intend for you to get second first, because it allows us to do a little skip that you'll see shortly. So those stars can really get away from you, especially that one. All right, so we got 2 of the 3. We just got to do this little block puzzle here and jump across these little smokestack things. All right, and then we are going to run all the way back to where that other wish is, which is over here. But having the pogo stick ahead of time is very useful. So I'm going to try to get a specific jump so that I can intercept this star. Yep, I got it. And then I'm going to get this one before he runs away. And then here's the skip. So usually you have to pull a block around this room to skip to get through that gap. And you have to climb a big ladder that takes forever. But instead, we can just jump up the side of that pillar like that, which saves, I think, about 20 seconds if we get by going with that wish first. Oh, no. All right. Oh, saved it. All right, we're good. That death is a little timely if you die there, but that's all right. All right, so first, like, game-breaking trick. It's called a wish cancel. If I press the button to use a wish and the menu to bring up the wish on the same frame, you can cancel out of the wish and still activate it. So with the hover glider, we can just glide infinitely. So that breaks quite a few things open for us. So I'm going to try to do a quick skip to get across this room. I'm going to do it blind here. I missed it. That's all right. You can jump across that gap instead of using the glider. The glider is really slow. And then you can just hop up that like that. And we can run across this room like this. Without the death, it's significantly faster. All right, so here's another big skip. We're going to just jump over here to this elevator with a run jump. They want you to get a freeze ray that allows you to freeze those hippos into blocks, like so they're platforms. But we're just going to skip that. And then we're also going to skip a room over to the left by just gliding across this area here. You have to be careful because if you skip that cutscene and then fall in the water, you will die still. The death trigger for the water is there until the water is absolutely gone. All right, so we're coming up to what used to be the hardest trick in the run, but is now trivial thanks to the infinite hover. So we used to have to use the pogo stick and bounce off of all of those hippos, but when you're over water or other actors, you don't get a shadow. And so it's very hard to figure out where you are, but the infinite hover just makes that trivial. We can just glide all the way to the end, which is really nice. And then this is a cycle that unfortunately you can't really get much better than I just got. You kind of have to wait for it. There is one trick that allows you to get it early, but it is really difficult and also relies on a different cycle from the pillars in that room. So we don't really go for that. All right. And we're coming up to another spot that used to be a heavy reset point in this level as well. Ooh, ran out of stamina there. You'll notice I have stamina in the bottom right corner. If I run out of stamina, he'll just stop running completely. So before we had infinite hover, we actually used to do that same trick that I just did. It was just a lot tighter, but you can just barely make that hover without using the infinite hover. It is actually still faster to not use the infinite hover there, but I only know of one runner who does that. It's Korovi. He holds the world record in this game. All right. We're just going to... This is the only room that actually requires us to have the pogo stick. If we can get through this room without it, we would not need it. So this room used to be pretty risky, but mainly just because if you fall or get stuck... Oh, no. Yeah, if you fall, it's timely, as you can see. I just fell. But yeah, if you start grabbing the blades of the fan, it's really hard to get back up because they move too fast for you to get up, so you just fall usually. All right, so going for... Oh, wow. I don't know if that hippo's ever gotten me like that. That's all right. All right, so now we're going for another big skip here. This is going to allow us to move during the first part of this cutscene. I'm going to hover into this door and hold hard left. And this is a cutscene, and they're doing the dialogue from the cutscene, but we get to move in it. If you die during that skip where you're moving during the cutscene, if you die right before the second part of the cutscene starts, this part, it will actually soft lock the game. So you have to be really careful with that trick, not to fall in the water or get shot by that hippo. That actually happened to me in a run yesterday. But yeah, not a lot of cutscenes we have to watch in this game, but there's a number of them in this fight that we have to watch. As you'll see, basically, we're going to be scaling this room to hit a series of buttons to put waste into Olga's pool. Also, if you see, I run jumped over those platforms there, over those hills, which caused Timmy to go into a sliding animation, which recharges your stamina while moving at top speed. All right, so we're going to jump on top of this button containment. We're going to jump onto the second layer here. There's a bunch of invisible holes in the ground, as you will see why in a minute. But then we're going to jump up off that on this tankard, onto the side of this pool, and then up here like this. And now we have basically scaled all the way to the top without going around any of the sides. So in this first cutscene, you'll see that a bunch of the platforms are going to fall away, creating like massive holes in the platforms and stuff. And those holes are always there. There's no collision there before this fight, but the textures are there. So if it's very easy to fall through those holes if you don't have them all memorized. And then we can just jump all the way back down to the bottom. And it's actually a lot faster to scale all the way to the top and then go all the way back down than to do it normally, because running around, you have to run around this platforming, like around the room, like 3 or 4 times. But if we can just scale all the way up to the top, then we can jump back all the way to the bottom, and it's significantly faster. If we could find a way to skip these cutscenes, this would be a pretty quick boss fight. There's a number of ways of getting around this room too. There's a number of like easier and backup strats and stuff. What I did was the fastest movement through this room. All right. So Age 2 Olga is done. We are moving on to the next split, which is a very heavy reset point for a lot of runners. So unfortunately, we're about to watch one of, I believe, the longest unskippable cutscene in this game. I believe it's about a minute. But I can tell you a little bit about this level while we're watching it. So basically, we're in Dad's dream. We need to get through the level, and we actually have to get all the wishes in this level. This is the only level that we get all the wishes, because we need all of them in order to complete the level. I believe the last one, or the second to last one we need for the boss fight, and the last one we need for a platforming section. Basically, we're going to have to run around 3 different platforming sections to get to these big machines that we can turn on in order to wake them up. So the first part of this, so we can skip that part of the cutscene. So these suits are basically like doors with keys, right? They're supposed to stop you from going down certain hallways, and you need a certain item in order to get rid of them. But we can just run by a number of them. So, all right, this is one of the hardest skips in the game right here. This is a very heavy reset point and runs for pretty much every runner. So we're going to get out of bounds like this, and then we're going to run jump over here. And now we're on this platform. And so we are actually going to just jump along the seam of this wall in order to get over to a different platform. I lost it, but I landed back on the pipe, which was good. Oops. All right, well, we can just get back up there. This is probably the most precise platforming you have to do in the run. All right, so there is a setup to do this easier, but it is slower, so I don't really do it anymore. I used to always do the setup, but also there is a lot of strategies in this game in terms of like different ways to do different platforming sections and all kinds of different strategies you can use to save time or make the run safer. I explain all of them in my tutorial video. There's a tutorial video on YouTube explaining how to do this entire run. So if this is interesting to you, go ahead and look it up. So I just fell out of bounds there. You can see that even though a lot of that looks like it should be solid, it's not. There's a very thin seam that you have to jump on here. If you get this skip first try, it's a very sweaty palm situation because you don't want to mess up anything else in the run after that. All right, we got it. All right, so now that we're over here, I can run jump all the way to the end of this platforming section. And then I'm going to actually jump into the goo here and kill myself. So this cutscene still plays in the background, even though we can't see it. But I'll respawn closer to the door right as the cutscene ends, which is a little bit faster than doing it after the cutscene. So something about Dad's dream that's kind of goofy is there's a lot of these long hallways. I guess it's supposed to be like a dream, right, where you have a lot of long hallways in it. But it requires a lot of very specific stamina management. It's very hard to get out of there without him catching you. You can do it, but it is pretty challenging. I don't get it very often, to be honest. All right, so now we're gonna get 2 wishes right now. Oh no. There we go. All right. I'm gonna get this purple one and then this yellow one here. And then, so the first wish is this light bulb, which allows us to pick up moths, which will eat suits. And then our second wish here is a magnet. The magnet does 2 things. It shoots bolts. It also will tear down these doors. You can walk through that door when it's like mostly done, which is kind of nice. You don't have to wait for it to like break down all the way. You'll notice in this hallway, I'm probably going to be jumping off of the walls a little bit. As I mentioned, Timmy bounces off things a lot when he's run jumping. And so if you bounce off a wall, you can gain some speed. That's the easiest trick in the game right there. You basically just jump on top of that lantern, and you can just jump all the way to the end of that platforming section. It's pretty much as easy as it looks. You could pick up the game right now and probably get it in the first 3 tries. So that's the boat that we need to take to the final boss, but currently it's a hot dog, so we're trying to fix that so we can actually ride it. And we need to pull all these machines to fix it, I guess. It's an odd lore, but I mean, it's fairly OddParents. What are you going to expect? All right, so now we're going to get the last wish. I'm going to recharge my stamina a little bit by walking, so I can get this guy first try without him running away from me. All right, we got him. And then, so for this one, I'm going to actually have to shoot this frog with a bolt so he doesn't eat my moth. And then I'm going to run over here, and this moth's going to eat the suit. You can get past that suit without a moth, but it is pretty challenging, and it really doesn't save any time. All right, this is the worst item in the game. I'm sorry for the sound effect. It's annoying. But luckily, we don't have to use it for too long. Just this section. Another long tunnel. And this is one of the hardest platforming sections in the game. So for this next suit, this one is probably the easiest one to skip. You can literally just run along this wall and he can't catch you. All right, so this is a very precise jump. I'm going to see if I can get it first try. All right, got it first try. That's pretty tight. You have to get a really specific angle. The game might crash here. No crash. All right, we are all set. That was the last chance of crashing. For some reason, that boost pad has the possibility to crash the game into like a hard lock. I made a backup save just in case, but we're all set. We don't need to do that. This is probably the hardest suit to skip. Got a first try, though, so that's good. There's another big platforming section right here, but we can skip it. You can see it kind of over there, but we can jump onto this trophy, which it seems like they probably didn't want us to be platforming on, considering where the collision is. But because it's so high up, we can use it to grab this platform and skip all of that stuff over there. And then we can just jump over here. I'm going to jump onto this wall and then onto this platform. And then I'm going to jump over here like this to skip a suit and save some time. And that's the last switch we need to pull. So now the boat is ready to go. So we're just going to run all the way back there. And there's one little mini game we have to play before we can beat the final boss. It's kind of like an unskippable cutscene in that it's pretty easy and you don't really have to pay that much attention. But there's a few little goofy things I can show you in the minigame. All right, you can play as Cosmo or Wanda. I like to play as Wanda. All right, so you can't really do anything to control the speed in this minigame. It's basically just like a rail shooter. Apparently, this boat takes light bulbs as fuel. So we're just going to be collecting light bulbs. The collision in this minigame is very bizarre. So I'll show you some interesting tricks we can do with collision. Also, the objects these turn into are just silly. Like, for example, these scissors. We can just clip right through them. We can do the same thing with certain parts of this pocket knife thing. Go right through the bottom here. And then in this next section, you can just get stuck. If you hold all the way in the up left, you'll just get stuck up in the other textures. And we're going to miss that light bulb, but we don't actually need it. You don't need all of them. Yeah, this is kind of a nice little downtime in this level because this is probably one of the hardest levels in the run. And so getting to just have like a minute to like de-stress for a second is kind of nice. You can also clip into these up here. Especially because the boss fight can be kind of challenging. It's also really easy to hit yes, play again there, and then you're stuck in the game. All right, so this boat is going to take us to the robot. That whole yellow area you see around him is like an AoE damage. So if I get caught in it, I will get hurt. So I basically, oh no, the so if he, so there's a thing that happens where if you get hit by that yellow and you're really close to a button, he will just keep moving past that button. And I paused and skipped the cutscene so fast that was still in the level after he fell down, and so he just moved on to the next one. What? Oh yeah, I just got a weird glitch where I have to come up here and get hurt by him. I skipped the cutscene so quickly that he got basically stuck in a situation where he was laying on the ground and invulnerable. I've only had that happen maybe twice ever. So when that happens, you have to run up to him and let him kill you. Otherwise, you'll just be in a soft lock basically. Gives me time to recharge my shots though. That's all right. Oh, what? I don't know what just happened. He just got right back up after I knocked him down. I actually don't know what that was. I guess that's never happened before. Also, that pillar was supposed to fall and it didn't. This is an interesting boss fight. A lot of new things going on here. Wait a second for that cutscene skip so I don't get another weird glitch. You notice you can kind of grab those bolts from far away. If you start grabbing it before it moves you into the next part of the fight, then it'll just keep grabbing it, like while you're running away, which is kind of nice. Just gonna refill here because I need to get 5 shots on him at the end here. All right, that was a pretty bad boss fight, but we made it through. We had like a number of the glitches that I've experienced just happen in one fight. So I don't know if I've ever had that many weird cutscene issues with that fight, but we made it out. We're all set. That fight is a huge run killer for a lot of people, including myself, just because of how many. If any little thing goes wrong, you have to run all the way to the next button. All right, so this is an interesting level. Basically, we're in like this haunted mansion, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. What's up with these ghosts and stuff. So first, we need to go get our wish. We only need 1 wish to beat this level. So we're gonna go get that right now. So the first star is in here. Got a little bit of platforming section to get to it. So you don't actually need to push this box all the way over in order to get on to this over here. There's a little trick with momentum in this game where if you hold against a wall and then you snap the other direction, all of your momentum will be conserved, and so you can just start off moving full speed. You'll notice I'm going to do ground pounds a lot of the time if I'm high in the air. It's just to get back down to the ground faster so you can start running. This is kind of an interesting room. It's like a timed platforming section. You have to hit a bunch of buttons. There's not a ton you can do to make this faster. There's a few little things like turning around and jumping over here, and run jumping over here, run jumping over here. But besides that, there's not a lot you can do. Just kind of got to do this platforming section. You can also time a jump well to just get straight over onto that second pillar. And so we're going to hit this button and then fall down here. If we get too close to the star, it will run away from us during this cutscene. So you don't want to get too close. You want to get out of that guy's area of damage there. So we're going to run over here. And so this wish allows us to flip the room upside down. And so we're going to use that to traverse this room a little bit faster than just running around it and going up a ladder. This wish is a bit abusable, so you'll see that we can do a few skips that allow us to not need the other wishes. If we go through this door, there's going to be a cutscene that's supposed to happen in the middle of the room, but for some reason, if you don't go to the middle of the room, it just plays when you go through that door. I don't really know why that is. This is called pit skip. It's another big skip in this game. Basically, if we jump all the way over here, and we jump into this corner, and then we mash the wish button, while he's sliding, the room will flip, and then we can land on this invisible object and then get through that room without needing any of the other wishes. There's a lot of invisible objects in this level. There's one right here that we can just do that. And then, so for this room, I'm going to come over here, and it's going to put us on this end table, and I'm going to be able to jump from this end table into this painting. But I did not make the jump, so we're just going to have to do the backup, do that one more time. Oh, no. Let's see if we can get this third time's the charm. All right, first try. Let's go. So now this is supposed to be a big block pushing puzzle, but I don't want to push the block, so I'm not gonna. Because pushing blocks takes a really long time, and we're trying to go fast. So let's see if I can get this skip here. If you jump at just the right time and hold left, you can just jump right through this hole here in this wall, or you can just do that. And now we're going into the boss fight. It's a pretty short level because we have that pit skip helps a lot. All right, so this boss fight used to give me a lot of headaches, but I just started doing something a little different that makes it a lot easier. Basically, we need to drop boxes on this boss by flipping the room around. So we basically need to line them up so that they're standing right over top of a box, and then we flip the room and it falls on them. But we have to do it in a certain timing. So we can see they're going to come over here like this. You can kind of see the camera does not want to obey, but you can just kind of push them on top of the box like that. And then after they do 3 lightning strikes, you can flip it and it'll pull them down. So I used to just try to do this by standing in one spot every time and like making it consistent in the same spot I would stand in. But now I like to move out a little bit so I can not have such a messy camera. And that helps a lot. But this boss fight is usually pretty easy, but occasionally if you miss a box or if they kill you, it can be kind of annoying, especially with the camera when it does things like that. All right, that should work. Yep, we got him. All right, one more. So I'm gonna kind of run around them here to like push them over into the box a little bit because they always maintain a certain distance from you. And this should be it. Let's see if I can get the glitch here. All right, yeah, I got into the collision for the boss's model, which is kind of silly. Don't get to see it for very long, but all right. So we are on to the final level. There's actually 2 more levels that we're supposed to do before we can go to the final boss, but we don't want to do those because they take time. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna get on top of this, and then we're just gonna jump right over that gate and go all the way to the final level. If you want to see those 2 levels, you can go check out the all levels runs. It's a pretty cool category. Some good glitches in those levels, but we're trying to go as fast as possible here. This is any percent. All right, so we basically need to hit the button that he stands in front of to blind him with a light, and then we need to stomp on his toes. He's going to try to hit his cane down to blast us away, but if we ground pound, it doesn't work. Oh, no, I ran too soon. Yeah, if you run too soon to the button, he will move. So I'm trying to manipulate him to go to certain buttons. All right, we got one more hit, and then it's time. So on the next hit for the boss, we got time. All right. Time is coming up, and time. All right, so that was Fairly OddParents Shadow Showdown for the GameCube. Looks like the time was I have 31:52 on my splits. So not a wonderful time. My PB is a 28:25, but still not a bad time overall. if you think this game looked fun or interesting to run, check us out on speedrun.com. We have a full tutorial on how to play the entire any percent run. Also, we have a Discord with plenty of people in it that are happy to help you learn tricks or get set up with the game and stuff. It's a pretty cheap game to find too, so that's kind of nice. Um, but yeah, thanks so much for joining us for the opening of License-thon this morning. Looking forward to the next runs today. So make sure to stick around. If you want to watch me play Fairly Odd Parents, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.com/EarlGray, or twitch.tv/EarlGray, excuse me. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon, everybody, and y'all have a great day.
Sorry about that, folks. I accidentally